Whew. I'm telling you, it has been a week. It has been a long week. I've been building stuff and epoxying stuff and sanding stuff. And I still have one more large piece to build. But it's been fun. So we'll wait for people to kind of mosey on in here and see what everything's all about because we are building stuff today. Plus, we're talking about the world. We're talking about anything and everything that you want to. You can talk about Iran. You can talk about stuff that's bothering you. I'm not a therapist, but I could be, you know, if you needed it. You know, we're just chatting and hanging out, getting to know each other, and seeing how all my subs are doing if they show up. I don't know how the notifications work on this thing. There's constantly I'm getting a message that there's some kind of issue that this for a live or for this or that or the other. So to be honest with you, I wanted to try sort of an earlier live today to see how things were going. It's obviously a weekend, so who's going to stay home and watch YouTube, right? And some people will, you know, who's going to stay home and watch an old man, an old engineer in his garage making stuff. But the cool thing is, with the project that I've been working on and it coming up, I literally still have to go like do my 107 test. It's insane. Um, Doing this project has been um, s- fairly taxing in in some ways, and other ways it's been fun to finally get that kind of creativity out. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. I hate it when it warns me, and then it goes away. Son of a. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. I am just sort of chatting, hanging out, and trying to meet new people on the chat and see if they like the channel content. And these lives are basically just to kind of get to know people and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I expect trolls to come in and out and stuff like that, which is fun. I find that entertaining. I think I do the lives because I want to see how creative some of the trolls are. Because I kind of collect them. Um, so yeah, it's kind of funny. So the basic basically, if you were to check out my channel, you'd know what it's about. It's about experimental propulsion and like doing weird drone ideas and things like that. What do I think of Trump? Um, I think when you turn a country into a business, you need a businessman to run it. And if you just ask Iran, I mean, he's getting stuff done. So there is that. I mean, everyone will complain once in a while about it, the gas going up a little bit or whatnot. But I mean, come on. I mean, how much was all this stuff during the prior administration? Not much higher, if at all. Um, what do I think of as personally? As as a leader, um, he's not bad. He's a bit unhinged. He'll speak his mind, and sometimes he'll go off on tangents. But uh, I don't personally know him as a man, so and not just a president. So um, I couldn't really say what I think about him in that aspect, other than the fact that things are getting done for the United States, and I think that should be something that we focus on, trying to you know bring this country back together instead of falling for the division. Um, just because one side doesn't like the fact that they're not getting the attention that they need for the votes that they want to get because they don't have power anymore. So that's what it is about. If you break it down and you look at it, you go, um, think about that aspect of it. What side doesn't have power and what links are they going to try to get it back, including making Americans unsafe, things like that. So you kind of have to look at the whole picture. You know, what do I think of religion? I think that well, it depends on the religion, to be honest with you. Personally, I'm Christian. And a lot of people hate when I say that. That's when everyone starts leaving the chat, right? But what you hear on the other side, which where there's people against, Christianity, is well, thank you, I appreciate that. um, love you too. And the thing is, people look at this side of it. You see how people watching dropped in half. That's expected for us because um and I don't understand the parallels. I do understand the parallels in a sense, but I don't understand why it has to be evil must prevail. We are people that are doing things that are wrong know that they're wrong, but you know, we shouldn't deport them or something like that. They diluted it all down, and then Christians, of course, they get the persecution for it, even though that we're not the violent ones. We're like we love mankind. We want to see the best for all of you. Um, we want you to see the truth of Christ and what He's done for you. Um, I hope somebody thought about that when they were looking for those eggs, which happened to have nothing to do with the resurrection, I guess. Um, and the bunny. Still can't figure that one out. But hey, they got to make money on it somehow, right? That's the rest of the world for you. Hello, everyone. Please not DIY. How you doing? Glad you could join. I kind of went for an earlier live today because I wanted to kind of just talk about whatever what people wanted to talk about and talk about the channel. I've been working on a lot of stuff. This is, I mean, like, insane. This project that I'm having to do, and the deadline's tight, but I got it, and it usually comes down to like when stuff gets here after it's been ordered like a month and a half ago. Um, but the spine body for the craft came in, which is interesting. They gave me a little piece of it here. I had it cut to a specific length, but they gave me the extra. I'm not even gonna tell you how much it costs for the whole length of this thing, but that's a beautiful piece of carbon fiber right there. And that's only one of like five separate carbon fiber pieces for the body. But I mean, it's cool looking. I like the way it looks. I think it's beautiful. Um, Now, it all has a lot to do with my controller here and my gearing here and my avionics bay here that I put together. Um, but the overall design, the craft itself, obviously won't be seen until after the actual competition. Now we are talking about the DARPA Lift competition. Um, Waiting for that invitation in the mail, and then the entry's done. I've done like all my steps I have to do. The preliminary stuff. I've got my 107 schedule. I never did get a 107 because I was like, I was flying drones long before they even had these regulations for it. And when they said, "Oh yeah, you got to have a license to fly," I was like, "Well, that's BS. I've been flying for years." So now I have to go do the 107 test, which is fine. We'll do that. It's general basic knowledge. Don't fly something heavy over people's heads. That kind of thing. I can only imagine what Amazon and those drone delivery companies always have to deal with. I mean, the regulations, the stuff they got to be licensed for. I mean, it's insane. I can imagine. But when you see those drone deliveries and stuff like that. I mean, it's just the FAA is really strict on what you can do with a drone and what can drop off of it and what can be done with it, how much it weighs, depending on its class. I guess there's different rules for industry, but it doesn't seem so because we're, dealing with, like, even in the DARPA lift, we're dealing with a lot of FAA regulations, strictly Part 107. We do get 41 or 48, 41807, I think it is. It's the one for hauling above your 55-pound weight. Let me help below if I can. Micro with pocket. Yeah, I think you mentioned the micro balloons before. Yeah, yeah. You'll end up very strong in line. Oh well, I mean, I've already okay. I'll kind of explain what I've done so far. So a lot of this is done. You got to remember, I've got an all up weight of 165 pounds. Um, Craft weight 55, minimum 110 pounds on the lift. We have a 4 nautical mile run we have to make with that payload. Then we have to go back, and it has to be VTOL lift, and then delivery, and then VTOL descent, unhook the load, fly back 1 more nautical mile. So it's going to be on this circuit where I cover 4 nautical miles and then drop the load into a specific box. You can find all this on DARPA's website. Drop the load into like a 5x5 box. Then it gets unhooked. Then you fly another nautical mile. So that was the math we based the original design. I based the original design on. And so far I've got, my avionics bay done here, and my these are special little servos for a special little task. You guys will see it afterwards, I'm sure. I know that it's open to the public for those who want to see it. As far as I know, it's going to be August 2nd through the 9th. It's going to be at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. And at this point, I don't know if they're going to open up other locations for people like us who happen to be like on the other side of the country. But I don't know, or if I don't know if they just made it like, let's make it centralized in the middle of the United States, and then everyone can just flood in from each direction. So the logistics of that would be interesting, but the challenge is going to be fun because the idea is that they were looking for a 4-to-1. This is how DARPA does things. They take what's almost impossible to do with the constraints that they give you because they want to see what you come up with. They want to see how you think out of the box, right? Um, I think that's they wanted unconventional design, so I made an unconventional design. And what's interesting is the math is showing I can complete the mission and still have 51% reserve on my battery. And it's electrical. So that the whole thing's electric. There's no gas propulsion in my system. There's no specialty because they said that you could have like drop tanks, but uh, no. On this one, they said that you could take fuel, but you had to, you use a fuel burning engine, but you had to the tank everything had to stay on. And now they're changing up the rules. Like I think like every month I get like an update of the rules. Like, well, now you can do this. It's like, well, all of this would have been helpful from the very beginning. But I think what they want to see is they want to see how well you adapt. I think they're going to have about 200 competitors that invitations go out to, possibly more. They'd originally said 200, but then they opened it up to like everybody in the world to compete with. So it's like they're more likely going to change that as well. So now I do know that you get one lane. It's 100 feet across. But they did add buffer zones. Like it used to be just one lane of 100 feet. Emma Jade, welcome. Hi, how you doing? Glad you could be here. Welcome to the chat. But the lane for the challenge is 100 feet, and then they added a yellow zone and a red zone, or a green, yellow, and red zone on the outside, which is sort of like if you drift, because this is the line of sight flight. You can't do this on FPV. You could probably use it for assist. I would use an FPV downward facing camera for assist when I'm dropping the load down into the box. That I can see being helpful. But every gram counts when it comes to this build. And I have pushed the limits of what I can do with the weight that I have to work with. And it's been an exciting project. And I got currently my 107 end of the month. I've got to do a first flight test of the platform on May 15th. After everything's locked in, I think when everything's locked in May, when everything's finalized, I think at that point or beyond, I have to figure that part out. Um, because your final draft submission goes uh, in May, and then you do your flight test mid May. um, I think I can start showing some content on it. Um, I have to watch the rules because at that point, no one can steal it because they've already locked in their aircrafts for their teams. So um, I saw a lot of people that did post a few ideas on YouTube prior to. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, Indian girl. Appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, I have children. I have like a lot of children. I'm glad you subbed. Thanks for joining. I noticed I get lives. I get some doing the vertical live streams. I get a lot more views on that than I do. I mean, it used to be a lot. Like if I put the CNC machine out when I'm doing work, it'd be like 12,000 people. I guess I'm just not that interesting by myself. But I find it interesting how many you put a machine on the internet or something like that, or if there's like like a short of somebody doing something absolutely dumb that gets millions of views. I put out an engineering technical short on what I'm doing, or what I'm trying to build, what I'm experimenting with next in the propulsion industry and things like that. Putting together odd drones, things like that. Just having fun. I'm a retired vet, I got this is what I'm doing with the rest of my life. Providing something in the future for my family. That's like an estate. I don't want to leave them a rental. You know, I appreciate that, Emma. Thank you. Um, I'm on honestly as I just for me it was always about flying was always my passion, even from a young age. Um, when I lived in the Central Valley in California, we had a home that was an older home, but it was decent. And from the earliest memory I have, and this was how my neighborhood was growing up, being Gen X and everything like that. You They didn't care what the kids did. Kids went out and played. They did stuff. They had fun. Oh, that's great. You're getting your flying license next month. Awesome. You can do some aerial footage for me at the Darby. Or maybe you can find that rocket I launched off that I never could find again. Um, but oh gosh, where was I? ADHD brain. Oh, when I was a kid, um, I even at 6 years old, I think I was like 5 or 6. I thought, well, I'm gonna parachute off the roof. At that point, I was young, really didn't understand physics that well, and I think what shocks me more now after the fact is that all of the neighbors were out mowing their lawns and watching, and there's a 5-year-old standing at the eave of the tallest point of my roof on the house with a sheet tied to my shorts. And I'm like, I'm gonna jump and parachute down. Um, it didn't work as you would expect, and I did not get hurt. I know you would think I would get hurt, that young, but I was a fairly resilient kid. I mean, um, all I did is leave some leg prints in the grass when I hit the ground, and then I got up and I was like, "Well, that didn't work." So there was a lot of, but that's the way things. But nobody in the neighborhood was like, "Look, there's a 5-year-old on a roof. Somebody help!" Nobody gave a damn back then. It was Gen X. It was like they were like, "You know what? Just go outside. If you survive the day, you can come back for dinner." That's just the way it was. Hey, Stefan, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been doing live, and it's been a while since I've done a long run video, which I really, really want to do because I honestly need more watch time. But um, the problem is I can't focus on my other EDF drones I've been working on because I'm in the middle of a DARPA project that has a timeline. So we're going to get back to that, um, and we're going to get back to launching off like different types of rockets because that's always a hobby of mine. Love putting together the sugar rockets and things like that. Um, the experimental stuff. I've got a really big design that involves hybrid hydrogen turbines, but that's definitely for later viewing because that's one that I fly. Um, so that's going to be fun. Um, I also have the Shrike Ultra, which is another SAROPS platform I was putting together, an EDF platform for search and rescue and things like that. Just sort of a contribution to helping out those who help out others. Um, Keep them out of danger as well. Send in a drone that can pick up a stranded individual on a roof, where it's flooded, and get him out of there, without having to send in a helicopter and the risk of it going down, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. How to improve your flying? Don't crash. Gravity isn't your friend. Lift is. Airfoils mean something. Control surfaces are harder to push when you lose hydraulics. Make sure you get your fuel mixture right. Um, you know, don't overuse flaps, especially in the wind. You'll stall. Always stay above your stall speed from landing to takeoff. Always stay above your stall speed, no matter what it takes. Powered flat descent, air brakes, whatever. You still want that nose pulling you and dragging you through that air. But always remember, I had to fly in, and this is just like when I was doing models and stuff like that. I had to fly in. I had to park like a really big park where we were flying in a bunch of planes. I think we're gonna do it again, but I'm waiting for a friend of mine to come from up south, up from the south, not the deep south. Um, no, San Diego area, so that we can head out to do some glider flying because I loved flying the huge power gliders. But at this one park, I was flying sort of a trainer that could be converted into an aerobatic plane, and I don't know what I put this thing through a lot, and what I ended up doing was um, the engine for some reason fell off the front. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. All I know is The engine fell off, and I had to fly it in. Like it wasn't dead stick, but I had no propulsion, so I had to use my inertia. So I was up in the air. I kind of dove to pick up speed so that I could pull out of that dive and then get close to the ground and then land the aircraft before it hits stall speeds, and then I landed it fine. Went and picked up the engine, came back. So um, yeah, if I could give you any advice at all, just stay calm, stay above stall speed, watch your fuel mixtures. But yeah, that's like I said in the chat description. It's pretty much just hang out, talk about what you want to, and get to know people, get to know new subscribers that might be interested in the content. Um, and to see, who who likes this kind of stuff. Because to be honest with you, with this channel, it's been really difficult to get uh the views and stuff that I'm looking for. Only because it's sort of a niche content. It's like beyond niche. There's niche content, and then there's my content, which is behind standing behind niche, just poking its head out. you know, that's all there is to it. Roadhouse. Hello, welcome. So, how you all doing? Any questions? What do you think's going on in the world today? I think every year so far for the past 5 years we've all been, next year will be better, and it's not. Something else horrible happens. It's like, because I know everyone's like 2027 is going to be the year of what? The rest of the end, the rest of Revelations. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm sorry. You got to keep living like you got 1,000 years left, but always be ready to go. You're with your friend flying instructor, and he told me that to prepare for landing, you have to dive down, but the exact opposite, and told me I was wrong diving down. Well, where is he telling you to land from? I mean, what was your altitude when he said, when you prepare for landing? Did he understand like gravity? Like, and the fact that you're flying in the air, so you kind of have to go down. Now he may have been like, "Don't dive, fly, circle around and bleed off speed and altitude so that you can line up with the runway and be at the right altitude to land." Uh, Diving's good for auto rotation and helicopter if you lose the engine on it. It's good for planes if you know what you're doing, but you got to be careful. It's sort of like a last ditch effort kind of thing. My situation was the engine was gone, and I had to use airspeed to come in at the appropriate speed for landing. So I had to dive, pick up the speed, and then pull back on the sticks, get it level, see what speed I'm at, see if it's adequate for landing, or prepare to, you know, impact before the runway. Noise, should they go for more blades? Arrangement or cancel out the lower frequency sound waves. That I mean, honestly, it just depends on what the application is. The If it's if it's like a standard prop, two blade, um, usually higher pitch is going to give you a lower thud. And if you have a lower pitch and a higher RPM, you're going to get that higher buzzing sound off the prop. So finding a balance between the two, depending on the torque of your engine and then everything else, is how you kind of make it quiet. Yeah. Because if I see a Cessna with a toroidal prop, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. I think that'd be hilarious. But so yeah, um, that's the only thing I can think of to kind of mitigate noise. Um, about the more blades thing. Thank you for joining, Emma. I'll let you know ahead of time. Hopefully, you get the notification. I guess it only goes out like half an hour before the live. I don't know, or I don't know if you get notified sooner if like you click the bell thing or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm kind of a rookie at this. Just live stream noobing. But thanks for coming by. We appreciate it. Glad you're here. Um, more blades or linear flow arrangement. So if you're talking more blades, honestly, I don't know if you're talking um more blades is like a coaxial type of blade setup or just more engines total. Is that what you're talking about? So there are some variables in that. I mean, you can make it quiet. I can make a turbine engine quiet. Um, as a matter of fact, the Shrike, there's playlists for all of this in my channel. The concept drone was 70 millimeter EDFs. That wasn't meant to be quiet. It was meant to be experimental. And the Shrike Ultra, much bigger, 11 blade, higher pitch fan, variable pitch on the blades, but it's a fixed variable pitch along the cord, not like a collective. When it comes to drones, I would probably go with a tri blade with um, not not a very high pitch, something that's a little subtle but tri blade. So in other words, that third blade is going to give you what you're going to lose on that pitch, but it's going to smooth the air out. So you're going to have a more consistent disc loading, which will probably quiet it down. Um, I think a duct ring could help because it would stop with any kind of turbulent flow around the tips. If you get it close, just a small duct ring, that could also help. So yeah, it's about pitch and blade count, I think. And a lot of drones, they run just two, a single prop, not like a tri blade or quad blade or anything like that. But I think the benefit of that is lower RPMs on more blades with the right pitch is going to give you a lower sound incidence, but it's also going to give you less RPMs necessary for movement, which will also help with sound. But it comes at the expense of torque and heat buildup. So you got to kind of be careful. You got to balance them out. You got to go, okay, well, what kind of disc loading am I going to get on this blade at this RPM? And then decide, do the, I mean, is the KV of my motor going to handle it? Is the 4S going to handle it, or is the 6S going to handle it better than the the standard blade? You know, do I need to raise the power of my motor? Do I need to go to a 22.2 volt system and drop the KV, which ultimately is going to make things quieter if you're going to stick with the same blade size class? But from my experience, um, going lower in the S rating on your battery is going to demand more amps, which is going to drain you quicker. It's not going to lift as much or have the torque that, say, like a 22.2 volt setup would. And I would definitely spin. Honestly, I would spin a tri blade with the right pitch with a 6S motor system. That's gonna probably be. It would be loud if you want it to be, but if you do it right, I think you'll get a nice smooth flow, and it won't be as loud. So that's what you got to think about. You got to think about how much air you're moving, at what RPM you're doing it, and what lift you need out of that motor. That's what's going to come down to, and then how much your battery system is going to weigh and everything else. Coaxial blades, I mean, there is a benefit to them, but it's I don't know if it's on the noise side. I just think that because most coaxial blades, they usually have a variable pitch blade system, and to be honest, I think you can get a lower blade count, but you got more parts you're dealing with, so you have to have something that's going to reverse, the other, especially if you're running off of one motor. You need something that's going to you need the gearing to reverse the other blade, and then it's just if you're 3D printing something like this and you don't already have metal gears for it and whatnot, um, then it's going to be a significant engineering task to kind of create that coaxial blade system. Now you can do it with two motors, but then if you're making a drone, um, you'd have to have eight motors, eight ESCs, and now you're into the realm of power to weight ratio. Um, I'm printing with PA6, so carbon fiber reinforced nylon, specifically for the DARPA challenge. Um, you replaced the Ender 3. So did I. I kind of like keep it around. It's sitting around here somewhere. Oh, I think it's behind my box here. Yeah, it's just sitting over there. Like the Ender 3 is like in the corner now crying. But honestly, it was a good printer when I started. And I just hate bed leveling with a passion. So I like the X1 Carbon. And I've built some extremely large aircraft with that little printer. I almost wish Bamboo Lab would be like, you know what, just give him all the printers and see what he can do. Because we paid for this one. It's been great. I've got like almost 7,000 hours of print time on it. And I've enjoyed the printer. It's a good printer. And I haven't had issues with it really. There are some programming logic issues they could work on. Like if you have filament feeding in from the AMS and it runs out, but the print finishes and it can't pull it back, then it's like filament is stuck. It should know that the AMS is out and that there's filament in the line and just purge it. Because I'm not going to use a little piece. What does it want me to do? Save that? Instead of being like, I don't know what to do. You got to take the whole thing apart and then pull the filament out. And it's like, just purge it. Just set up something that purges it. If it's past the AMS and it's into the system, just when you go to the next print, have it purge it out. And it should know. It should put some kind of optical sensor in there that knows the difference between the filaments. So, hey, welcome back, John. Um, Kodal said hi. You sound like that. What's the name? Why does that name sound familiar? It's like something Captain Kirk fought on an alien world. Um, yeah, the Ender 3, yeah, bed leveling is, yeah, it's like if you've got a choice between the Ender 3 and any other printer in the world, I would even take a 3D pen. The one you do by hand, if I didn't have to bed level. Hold on. What do you make of current trends in drone technology? You know, they want to, okay, yeah, I get that. They want to make it autonomous, offensive, hybrid, defensive complexes, selling one stop solutions. Yeah, there's, my opinion as far as like AI and drone technology, it's great for running calculations on specific things that a human is commanding it to do. But giving it total control would be a mistake. Now, there are systems out there. We know that the military has AI drones that fly in tandem with F-35s and things like that. And they command these drones to strike targets. Now, to me, that's still a human being pulling the trigger, even though that the AI is carrying out the command based on its programming logic. But it's making decisions based on what was given. So there's sort of a fine line there. It's like, okay, do we give full automation to the drone from AI? Well, it'd be more accurate, but if something malfunctions, it still needs to be something that can be immediately taken over by a human. I feel like if they're going to run 4 drones in tandem with an F-35 on any mission, I think there should be 4 controllers on the ship that have communication with the drones. They're carrying out their mission. If there's any anomalies, a human can step in. There always has to be, because a machine doesn't understand anything about emotion, reaction based on emotion. It does not understand meaning. So there is, because you can give you the textbook definition, but um, it can't feel. So it can't understand the gravity of the situation. And sometimes we make decisions that make or break a battle or a deal or a conversation based on our emotional context. And AI wouldn't get that. It just won't. And everyone thinks it will eventually. Well, it might. It might be able to give you a really good rendition of it, but it's never going to feel anything. And I think that's the big problem. There has to be someone with a moral compass on the other side of those controls that understands the cost of what's going on. And that's, I think that's very important when it comes to defense contracting, anything like that. What I'm doing is a logistics thing. So, well, they say it's a logistics thing, but once if they take my drone after the competition, then they're like, we like it, we'll use it. Then there's no telling what they'll do with it. So, do I have a problem with that? No, let me head up the program on the design. It's my design, right? So, um, then will be good to go. Will AI be able to predict Trump's move? Trump moves? Uh, I don't think so. Um, Again, because AI can take the current context of something and possibly predict the outcome. But if emotional states change, then that prediction becomes completely void. Because now, if you're driven by something other than the first emotional state from a set of circumstances, and you've decided because there's intervention in your team or whatever, and says, well, we can do this. Now your emotional state has changed. So if AI made a prediction at point A and there was an emotional change in the human at point B, its prediction is no longer valid unless it weighed all of those consequences. But then it can't decide whether or not that person's going to make a change based on information or an emotional or gut feeling, for example. So no, I don't think AI is never going to be smart enough to do this. It can carry out precision commands, but it cannot make decisions based on what's important when it comes to situations like that. And that's the meaning. It doesn't understand meaning. Well, that's just it. I can tell you right now that you can tell when a specific AI is programmed by someone who either has a moral compass or doesn't, because it's designed to pull information from specific logic centers and it has a learning model that's designed around this specific thing. So like something politically incorrect in the mainstream media and social media and all the craziness you hear about and everything. You've got people on one side that's saying that gender ideology is crazy, and you got people with gender ideology who think the other people are racist, fascist people, and um, it to me that's just illogical. So what would happen if you put that into AI? Well, who programmed the AI? So is this bias naturally programmed in? Because censorship is one of the main things we talk about, especially on platforms like YouTube, censorship, things like that. And if the AI was saying is designed to basically not answer specific questions based on, let's say, gender ideology, because the person who wrote it believes in gender ideology and doesn't want someone to question the system. They want it just to be something that they believe is fact and shouldn't be questioned. Then the AI is now programmed in a biased nature. So the AI might be believe that it's acting within the moral constructs that it's been given, and to that it might believe that that might be a moral decision to not discuss it and to censor it, when in fact it would be censorship. So you kind of have to weigh all of that and say, okay, well, who's programming? That's what it comes down to. Just like in war, it's the person on the trigger that has to make the moral decision. And I don't care if it is a super smart AI that can do just about anything. If it's programmed by the wrong person, there are going to be biases in place that are going to be system protocols. And if you don't think someone's, you know, beyond doing something that egregious, think again. Look at the world around you. I just think that that's the truth, and I don't think that people don't want to be held accountable. They don't want moral accountability because they believe that it takes away from their rights. This is why that side of the aisle had pushed so hard. We have a specific self desire. You're impeding that ability for us to act on that self desire in the realm of you recognizing us for what we are not. And that is the whole point. If you take the morals out of it, then what do you have left? I mean, you got right and wrong. That's what it boils down to. You either make moral decisions or you're not a moral person. And whoever is in charge of making decisions for either programming AI or for making decisions on running a country. If they're not, if they do not have a correct moral compass, if they don't understand the moral implications of their actions, everything else falls apart. And nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to believe that because that would mean they would have to be accountable. That's why Christians get bashed on so much. Um, we are all hated, but we don't hate anybody else. Um, look at the left and the right. I mean, how many fiery yet peaceful protests have you seen from the right? I mean, I remember those days during COVID. They literally said it's a fiery but mostly peaceful protest. People are just trying to get food. We don't know why they're in the Nike store looting. There's no bread there. But that's the kind of logic they feed you, and they expect you to go ahead and eat it up and be like, oh no, no, that's totally fine. Don't tell that man he can't go into a woman's bathroom. And so when daughter's in there, he ain't gonna be going in there. I mean, call the ambulance for this guy now because that shit ain't gonna happen. Because they take this ideology and most people use it as an excuse just to gain access to what they want the most. And that's just to be perverse. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, I've encountered a lot of people who I've prayed for, and they're like, dude, why don't make stupid decisions. I got a guy in a warehouse that broke into the warehouse that I guard. I have him at gunpoint. Okay. And he's just pacing back and forth. I'm like, dude's got a problem. Okay. I didn't know if he had a weapon on him, so I went ahead and holstered mine. And this guy was like, I was just trying to see through the wall. My girlfriend's over at the apartment complex. She's with another guy. I'm like, dude, look, if that's what's going on, do you think you need to go get yourself all heated up right now? Like you're bouncing back and forth. You're on private property. I don't know if you have a weapon. I approach you, draw mine because you're reaching around and stuff like that. You're gonna get yourself in more trouble. And finally, we started just talking. I'm like, dude, you gotta just God's got better plans for you. If this kind of situation is gonna get you that heated because of a woman, just walk away from it. Go cool off. Don't do anything harsh. I mean, we parted on good terms. He went to his mom's house and he said, I'm gonna go to my mom and just cool off. I'm like, yeah, just stay away from that, man. I mean, the woman you're concerned about already showed you what she's about by being with another guy. So don't waste your time. What are you trying to win over? She's just going to do it again. You're from the Netherlands, so it's difficult, impossible for me to judge over things. And yeah, I can understand that. The Netherlands, though, are beautiful. I would love to go there. Things I hear is from the media, and it's difficult to get a whole story to base an opinion on. Well, well, you want a whole story? We have a country that's run by a faceless leader. Okay. And that's not who's in the office at any given point in time. That faceless leader is who basically owns it. Who he who has the gold makes the rules. That's the way it is here. Social media has turned everyone into uh, you know, robots who have a social standing that has to be conformed to, and everybody has to follow that trend, which takes the individuality and creativity out of every other generation that follows it. to the point where now everyone is just staring into their existential crisis rectangles, waiting for the next viral miscarriage of justice to hang a hashtag on. And it is annoying because it takes away from every single piece of humanity. And we have forgotten how to survive. Do you know how many people in this country would die if the electricity went out for more than a week? Do you know how many people would die if trucks stopped bringing food into stores? We don't know how to survive on our own. We don't know how to live without electricity. Nobody does. Nobody does. I do. I know how to hunt. I know how to forage. I know how to live in the forest. I know how to build shelters. I'm a veteran. They taught us that stuff off the bat. Okay. And I used to do it for fun when I was a kid anyway. Go out into the woods and build my own little fort, just hang out there. Used to go out and fish at the river, catch a couple, get the trout, get it set up in some tin foil, a little butter, a little salt, wrap it up, put it on the fire, and cook one while I'm fishing for more. You know, and I'm doing it with just an old rod with maybe 60 feet of line that I scavenged off the bottom of the river with a lure on it. That kind of thing. I didn't have any money growing up. So no one knows how to live off of the land. And honestly, the only thing I want to get back to is living off the land. I still want to do the drone. I mean, I love. I'm gonna, like if I'm able to ever buy property, which I wish I could. I can't afford it right now. Um, that and I never use my credit, so it's not that good. Um, I didn't feel any use to use it. I used it once or twice. Not very much credit. Um, but I want a piece of property where I can build a home that becomes an estate for my children, for their children, so on and so forth, so that my wife and I can live out our lives in peace. With our children there, if they want to be there, there's enough room to raise animals. There's enough room to grow things. And then, of course, I've got my shop. And yes, I have to have a small runway, at least, because this is my passion. This is what I do. And that's what I want to do. And I'll live off the land. I'll harvest energy from the sun. I'll dig a well in a septic tank. I've done that before. Trust me. That's no joke. Um, I've wanted to live not so far off grid that I can't go in and like enjoy the lights of the city when 'cause you got to get that neon every once in a while, and then go back out to the home. It's just far enough outside the city so there's no light pollution, so you can look up through the pine trees and you can see every star in the sky, and it can be a cool fall night, and you're having either a cup of coffee or cocoa with the missus, and the kids are happy, and that's the life I want to have. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that they have that at the end of my life. I want that, put it in a trust, make sure somebody holds the trust so no one can take it from them. It's land. And I'm going to put, it sounds crazy, but I'm putting a small, sort of older style, like a Catholic temple that has tombs in it on the property. Because that changes the whole story on the property once you put, you know, tombs in it for family. It changes the whole dynamic of how the land is seen. So it helps with taxes too. Oh man, you know what? I could probably do it before. I mean, prices have gone way, way up since I started looking at houses. You ever been so broke you don't even know how expensive stuff is anymore? You're like, I don't even go out and buy stuff. Um, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I think 500,000 would buy the property and a decent bit of acreage. conservatively at where I'm at, and then maybe another 250, 300,000 for a humble building for the home, you know. And then the shop I would earn, I try to earn that after I get established. Earn that money, build that shop, do what I gotta do. So, and hopefully it's through entertaining everyone here. I'm not into YouTube for the YouTube money like you see some of these like rich people paying $12,000 a month for rent on houses in Hollywood and all this other stuff, and wearing thick chains and stuff like that, and they're tatted up and they're speaking some kind of language like they've been electrocuted. Um, but I can't. It's not me. I'm more of a simple, down to earth. You know, take care of the family, do my passion, but take care of the family doing it. And then work the land. You got to be a steward of that land. You can't just have the land and put a big fence around it and look at all my pretty property. No, you got to use it. You got to use it. You have to survive on every square inch of that property should be producing something for your consumption, for your survival, for your health. Why would it be impossible? Is it too expensive there? Or is it like just all ice? Sort of a joke, you know. Sorry. You're like, you could definitely find that land here if you can get under 2,000 feet of ice. It's down there somewhere. Oh, and look, an ancient pathogen. Yeah, where I'm at, it's still kind of expensive because it's California, you know. But I don't want to be on the West Coast. I want to be farther, like on the east side of California, on those in those foothills up there, closer to like Murphy's and Big Tree and stuff like that. Just the beautiful pines and the woods, and that's what I want to be in. As far as I'm concerned, the fault line could give on the West Coast. That could fall into the ocean, and that'd be fine with me. It'd be a red state. Oh, overcrowded. That's interesting. How many people are in that? I mean, what's the population of the Netherlands? I mean, I know it's beautiful there. Houses around 450 to 600,000 euro. Dang. A normal size. What's a normal size house? Like cubic meters or something, square footage. For us, it's square footage. I assume it's. I don't know how they do it there. And I got all fancy and get the metric system so you can round off. I don't even know why we use the empirical system. I mean, it's okay and everything, but it's like I don't want a whole. I want 12 thousandths. I want a fraction to decide my fate. 18 million? How big is no? I mean, I don't even know how big it is compared to the United States. Well, I mean, you look at the maps, a lot of stuff's disproportion on the maps and stuff like that. Like I know some countries, like I know the UK could fit in like Texas, stuff like that. And and honestly, I kind of discovered this when I did my ancestry because I have a lot of descendants from uh, Eastern European nations and uh, Scotland, Ireland, uh, Basque, uh, a lot of stuff in that region where I come from. Of course, Indigenous American, Indians, Montauk tribe, that kind of thing. But I got a lot of the Scottish, Irish, and Is it Eastern European? I can't remember if it's this says English and I forget. I'd have to pull it up and show people one of these times. It's interesting. Little front garden and 13-meter back garden worth around 520,000 euro. Wow. And the euro, if I'm not mistaken, is worth more than the dollar, isn't it? Or I get that backwards. I thought it was worth more than the dollar. Or is that the pound? I don't know if that's I don't know. I think it's more expensive. I think it's more I think your money is worth more than ours, which doesn't surprise me nowadays. Yeah, okay. Okay. So you like look at one of our dollars and you're like peasant, drop it off the like the butter in the top drawer of the fridge on the door, looking down at the vegetables like peasant. Well, it's wonderful. I have a whole two subscribers. I or two watchers. What's going on? Oh, you're checking it out? Yeah. Okay. Be careful. Is the wind picking up out there? Very much so. Yes, we're finally getting a storm. I hope. Let's think about the weather around here. It's like yesterday we had warnings of ping pong ball size hail, tornadoes, and the thunder was just rolling all around us. But it always misses my town. It's like, bring it over here, man. I'm tired of the heat. 9 years ago, 263, so doubled in price now. Yeah, that's good equity. Yeah, sure. I'm listening to my huskies go crazy. Hold on. Okay. So I make sure in this area, I want to make sure I don't have to go out and put somebody in their place and talk to my wife or children or something like that. Sometimes we get the stupid gang members, right? Well, the thing is, though, I do like the UK style gangs. Those are funny because you all can't have guns, so it's hilarious to us. Yeah, it's well, see, that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. I figure I go through the DARPA challenge, I do my best. If I win, I win. If I don't, somebody buys my logistics platform. We go from there. The idea is that I make sure that my daughters don't have to worry about trying to afford what they're not going to be able to because we know that wages aren't going to match the increase of price. It never does. And we're intentionally designing a system that puts the people in poverty that they want in poverty and puts the people in office that they want in office. And that is an unfair system. And then they wonder why, people go to the extents that they do to try and make money. I think that or the people that are doing the scamming and stuff like that. And it's just it's too expensive. So I'm it's my job to make sure that I secure an estate for them. Now they can work and they can buy their own place one day if they want to, but the idea is that I left them with what I was never left with, and that was a chance to start something and not be from the street, you know? And that was the whole point. Jocelyn, hi, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. I believe I do. How have you been? Sorry, you're over there. I'm looking at the chat. My apologies. I'm not like, hello, I'm not going to look at you now. I'm literally reading the chat. So don't take offense. Excuse me. I have to scoot over here and have my tobacco pipe because I don't want YouTube to have a heart attack. You know what I can't wait for is gosh, I cannot wait to put some content out about this DARPA drone. Yeah, that was what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Well, not too wasn't too far away. Oh no, it was. I've been working on this drone for a while, and the big one, and it's I've got one major part finished, and it's massive. I want to show you guys so bad, but I can't show you. But all I know is, like, okay, I ordered part of my aircraft is the spine. Now, no one's going to know what my aircraft is just by looking at the spine, but this is part of. They did. I had to have it custom cut. This isn't the piece. This is the extra piece. Now, this is a carbon fiber spar, rectangular spar, Rockwest Composites. This is some seriously awesome stuff. This is some rigid, light stuff. But this entire piece that this came off of was almost $1,100 just for the spine of the aircraft. And I've got like one, two, three, four, five, five motor spars, or motor. I'm sorry, wing spars and motor spars, and those were 200 apiece. So I think the whole thing was like 1,700, something like that. What's up? What happened? What is it? The key thing? Won't open. Won't open. Uh, yeah, you won't tell. Of course you won't. If you guys give me a second, I have to help my wife with a key that's being stubborn in the box. I wish I had my plaque around here. Do you know where it is? The yellow one? No, I haven't seen it. I thought I had it like right here somewhere. I have this convenient little plaque for when I have to use the restroom on a live, and it says everyone's a 3D printer, and there's a guy sitting on the toilet, little silhouette guy, not like an actual guy. That'd be awkward. Um, I can't find the sign anywhere. So, um, just give me one moment. I'll be back. I gotta go handle this key thing. The Huskies went out. Okay. I fixed the problem. I fixed the problem. Hold on, be right back. I have to use the restroom like for real now. Only a second. Stay there, dude. You want to go outside or something? Huh. All right. All right. Sorry. I'm back. Whew. Well, I apologize for that one. I had to go fix the lock on the box for the mailbox because some of the mail carriers they'll just kind of throw stuff in there and then just squeeze the door shut, so the key won't turn because there's too much pressure on the mechanism. That's how they do it. They're just like, you know what? It's a small box. They ordered a queen size mattress. Let's just throw it in there. Like folding it and just they'll get it. You know. Then you go into your mailbox and you're like, I can't get this. You know, like a United States postal IED. I got it out of there. Yeah, I just same thing here, man. Had to use the restroom as soon as I got there. Like, come back, everyone's gone. So yeah, I honestly, I have to ask from someone who watches live streams, what should I do to have like more people want to come see? You're like, be more interesting. But I seriously, like, what would you do? And I think I'm not the only one that this happens to, because I see a lot of lives and it's like one, two, three people. But you know, I don't know how to get more viewers on. Should I get a better camera? Maybe, like I don't have a cleavage, so that doesn't work for my in my favor. Um, but that's what I need is I need like I'll just have two Hooter girls standing behind me or something. You know? Then people will come in for no reason. Well, they'll be here for a reason, but it won't be for me. Uh, those be like flooding in, it'll be like 10,000 watchers, and they're just standing there, like waving every once in a while. And I'll be talking, and no one will even be paying attention to me whatsoever. But that's okay. That'll bring up the view count. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you. I gotta finish this avionics bay. I'm pretty much done. I just have to get it mounted and oh This is a rough project. These are expensive servos too. Ain't playing around with this build. Message they're like retracting messages. Viewers are leaving. Back, back, back. Okay, I heard you. Sort of heard you. Yeah, I'll probably end up losing internet or something soon. Uh, hearts for the pipe. You know, I'm Gandalf. What have you been up to, Bilbo? Oh yeah, that was a good movie. I think the funniest reel that I saw for Lord of the Rings was, uh, did what? I'm the only channel you watch? Aw, you're gonna make me blush. Ice cream or wafers? Ice cream. I feel like this is a setup. Ice cream. That's for that. That would be what, because when you say wafer, I mean I think like a Triscuit or something like that. You know, where someone said, where someone said, yeah, you're probably the only one watching. Um, it's like somebody said, like when they made the Triscuit, like you've seen the reel, right? Where they say, let's why not let people eat wicker furniture? It's just I don't understand it myself, but you keep that they're good though, you know? Yeah, no one watches me. I don't understand it. I've got like so many things in here. Like they don't want, I think they watch the videos and stuff like that and the shorts and but the live streams they don't get. You would think like after watching the content you'd be good. Okay, well he's going live, so let's go see what he's gonna talk about. And out of 34,000 subscribers, there's like you're like literally the only one here. I all now granted, I did do this on the Saturday where people are like, end of the week, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go do something, go have some fun, not sit home and watch YouTube. Some old guy in his garage talking about drones that he's building or stuff happening in the world. I mean, what could I possibly offer the YouTube community except my heartfelt gratitude and an occasional accent that isn't mine? Giggly. Hi, Jesslyn. How you doing? I appreciate you being here. Taking up all the bandwidth. Only two people here. I guess it's an exclusive event, right? You have to have tickets for this live. No, I honestly think that it's just I like to try and get to chat with people and get to know them. I don't like to be just one of those channels where I'm just a talking head on a screen or a faceless YouTube channel, which I'm sure a lot of people love watching. But nowadays, it's really hard to get that kind of exposure because everyone wants 15 to 30 seconds worth of mindless garbage. and they just keep doom scrolling like over and over and over. And it's like, what are you watching? You're not watching anything. Someone agrees with me, but they're not. You're not watching anything. You're just like doom scrolling. It's like, oh look, somebody put gorilla glue in their hair. Oh look, a gangbanger shot a transformer in Chicago and knocked out power to the whole block. Why is that trending? Why is that trending? That's the whole thing. And you're good. You know, when you see the reaction videos, who's doing the reacting on the videos? The ones that get like 10 million views. It's usually a female, off to the side, all highlighted, showing themselves off and stuff like that. And then YouTube says, "Oh, I don't exploit anybody. We don't want to exploit anyone." It's like, dude, YouTube, come on now, man. Tell the truth. Well, you know what you're doing because I'm an engineer. I build things. That's what I do. I go to sleep listening to physics books and designing my next drone. That's how I fall asleep. Can't fall asleep if I don't, because my mind is constantly going. So I have to get the idea prefabricated in my brain because I have a version of Fusion 360 lodged in here, and I CAD the whole thing out in my head, and I go, "Oh, that's going to work." And then the next morning, I'll go start working on the CAD work, and then I'll go over the math and everything, and go, all right, what do I need for power? What do I need for lift? What do I need for, control? This is going to be a cool aircraft. Is it practical? Probably not, but it's going to be fun. Kind of like me launching off those small Hellfire missiles I did in some of the previous videos. Still haven't launched this one off yet. C-67. We'll have to see how ballistic that one goes. But my neighbor found the other one and brought it back to me. And I think I've got it over. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, look, my biggest fan. So this is the infamous B-44, which took off from the wing mock-up that I built and went after someone. I don't know who, but it just, it came off the rail and went, I'm gone. And then, and it was a horizontal launch, not a vertical one. It was to prove a point, the impractical nature of small missiles like this or rockets that are modeled. These are guided systems. And the whole point of that, I got so much crap from one person from that video because because they were like, they didn't work because you didn't do it right. I'm like, dude, how many times do I have to say? I didn't do it to show you how to properly launch a missile from an RC aircraft. I did it to show you why you don't. And he still kept going on and on. He goes, but the problem was you did it wrong. You didn't have the rail. It's like, you're not listening to me. A standard scaled down hard point on a wing mock-up, which is the stand that I used, is, and then this rail or this system here, it was all to show that at scale, there is no guidance to these things. They're not going to work. Now, if you could design one to go straight, I'm absolutely certain you probably could. But remember, missiles without guidance are ballistic. You don't know where they're going. Okay, you don't know how far they're going to go. You don't know what you're doing. They could choose their own direction at any given time. And the two launches that I did, I think, prove that. But nobody understood. I mean, a lot of people understood it except for this one guy. He just kept going, "You didn't do it wrong. You're not an engineer. This didn't take engineering to do this. It took the 12-year-old kid inside of me to do this. That's what it did. This was to show people why you don't. It's not legal to fire things from an RC aircraft, which is why I did it from a wing section that was attached to a bench that was sitting on the ground. In essence, a horizontal launch pad. And he just kept going over and over and over and over again about, oh no, no, it didn't work because you did it wrong. I'm like, you're missing the point. Um, but yeah, we still have the C67 to do. We recovered B44, so it's had one flight. So we're gonna put a notch on its belt, and we'll do another B44 because we have a couple more engines. Uh, well, I have at least a dozen engines left. We're definitely gonna do some more. That was fun. And what I thought about doing was like putting them in this little like box launcher kind of thing and seeing if that actually helps to make it go straighter. I don't think that this thing is aerodynamic in the sense that at this scale that it's actually going to fly straight, even if it is balanced with, the engine in it, it is balanced. So not bad. But this one right now should probably be worth more money because it's actually flown and been recovered. Though, and it didn't take any damage. The first one was obliterated. I mean, it hit the board and just flew apart on the A83. The B44 had a mind of its own. The B44 went, "You're trying to throw me into that board and break me? No, you're not." But yeah, this one's still loaded, like I said, with a C67, and we got to do this one. But I want to try and find a place where people don't complain. Now, my neighbors, they know this stuff happens. I get a picture in my text from a neighbor who's literally having coffee all the time. She's holding it in her hand like this. And she goes, "Is this yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one I called you about." So I said, "If you see it, let me know." And they're like, they expect it from me. They do. I have good neighbors when it comes to that. If they see a large craft the size of a friggin' Prius take off from the backyard, they know it's me. So, um, and I know I said Prius, and that's because the drone isn't that big. The rideable one is not that big, but uh, I have to be careful how I fly that one. If I'm testing it, I'm tethered to the ground, and I'm just testing because I'm not um, because I know there's a little bit more paperwork I have to do to actually fly an unmanned aerial vehicle or fly a manned aerial vehicle, I should say. And that is going to be something I'm going to be doing. Now I can do it in my warehouse across the street over here. So, because if you're caged, according to the FAA, if you're caged, if the drone is caged, if you're doing it in a warehouse, you can fly it, and it's big enough. The warehouse is big enough, except it's been sitting for over 100 years, so it's a very very old warehouse. It used to be a winery, so it's huge, and um, but the pigeons have left their mark on it. So if as soon as I spin it up, there's going to be a cloud of pigeon dust that's going to go everywhere. What's up?
I'm gonna show you this on live.
Are you going to show me this online? What is it?
It's from my sister.
Oh, whoa. That is cool. You guys want to see this? All three of you? Do you want to see this? This is cool. This is really neat. This is like I think I've seen this picture before, but seeing it like on a canvas.
Look how he wanted.
Yeah, that's really neat. I like that. She just sent this to you?
She so
How'd she have it made?
she found him at Goodwill.
She found this at Goodwill?
Yeah, and she sent me a text. She goes, "Look what I found." This was like 2 weeks ago. And I was like,
Wow.
"Wow, that's amazing." She goes, "They only had one." And then when I opened the box just now, the little tag said, "Just kidding, they had two."
Yeah, too. That is cool. That is cool. And that's like the depiction of what we go through on a daily basis in this world. That's us. That's our creator protecting us. And those are Democrats.
aren't well, there's some Democrats probably.
No, they're Democrats.
Okay.
Okay.
But not only
They're all, no, they're Democrats.
Okay.
There's no, you cannot talk me out of this one. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Gavin Newsom, Adam Schiff, and Nadler. Nadler. You know, do you know Nadler's the only person in Congress that looks like the Lego version of himself?
Name is Natalie.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
that's cool.
I want to show you. We have to
Thank
figure out
you.
where to hang it.
Yeah, we'll find a place to hang. Don't worry. Oh, that was a cool piece. That's a cool piece. I've seen the picture before, but that I didn't know that somebody had put them on canvas. Obviously, it's print. We all know that, but it's still really cool. I like it. We get Jason peeking around the box. He's like, "Hi." Mhm. I did a lot of masks for Halloween, so it's like I have, and of course we got the Terminator over there, and then this guy right here. This is when I did that. I think the last live I did was the EVP, where I was disproving the EVP by talking to myself in the afterlife. That was funny. That was too funny. Because it was amazing how it worked. I ran it through a noise gate, ran it through a reverb, I ran it through the speaker, and I had this guy in red, and he was like just standing in front of the box. And I had so many arguments with myself in the afterlife. It was hilarious. But it was just to prove the fact that you're not actually talking to, you know, you're not talking to the dead. You can't talk to the dead. What you're messing with isn't something you should be messing with. So let's see here. Here we go. Slow down, Turbo. Okay, enough of that. This is like the coolest little thing I've ever. I like $30 for this thing. Not worth $30 for sure, but okay with extra blades. But it's cool. It's fun to fly around the shop when you're like bored, waiting for something on the printer to finish. My poor printer. I'm telling you, I I put that thing through 7,000 hours of print time. Literally abused the heck out of it. I've done the maintenance, but not as much as you would think someone would do with that many hours on a printer. I've printed a 5 foot by 5 foot EDF drone. I've printed so many other things, rockets, other drone bodies, things like that, like the Shrike concept drone playlist on my channel, the Shrike Sarop drone playlist, and the A10 Warthog that we're still working on. But like I said, I'm working on the DARPA challenge now, so I'm basically uh unfortunately paused on some of the other content, but it'll be coming back up soon because this competition will be locked in at the end of May. Once the drone's done and I do an initial flight, then I can show you guys what's going on because all the teams will have their entries locked in. So that's what I'll be doing. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to do this stuff, and I guess it's not as much fun for most people because not a lot of people watch on the lives. What I want to do is I want to get out and get some more flight type in. I've done a lot of engineering in the garage, and a lot of builds in the garage, and a lot of testing in the garage. What I haven't been able to do is get outside and fly some stuff. I did fly the original Shrike concept drone. If you look up the Shrike Maiden, you'll see the EDF colored, OD green EDF colored quad, uh, basically jet drone. That's basically what I did. I did it with EDF motors. Yeah, it's a contest. It's a contest, and it's done by DARPA, and they do a lot of different contests, but this one's basically to see if we can get a thrust to weight ratio increase based on design. I chose the route of what can I do with off the shelf components. So that was one of my main things, except for the printed structure, the parts of the drone that are printed. Those I printed out of carbon fiber reinforced nylon. I think it was CF 20%. Fiberon from Polymaker. They make some really good filament. They're not sponsoring me to say that, but you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Polymaker can send me some free stuff if they like to print with, and I'll experiment with all of it. But it's not like they're going to see this live, so it doesn't matter. Not many people will, but um, it's just when you're in the realm of engineering and avionics and aviation design, not a lot of people are interested in that kind of thing. Now, I do try to put together long run videos, which I'm going to do some more of, but I got to get some flying out. I got a friend probably coming up soon that's going to bring some gliders. I miss the gliders. I would love that FMS Fox. I'm telling you that right now. I'm talking like the 9-foot wingspan on that glider, that powered glider. I would love that glider. That would be an awesome glider. Um, I just have to wait till I can afford it because the investor that basically paid for all the parts for the DARPA mission, um, you know, it's like that's his money. I can't like use it for other stuff like that. You know, it's so I have to wait till I can afford it. You know, so uh, hardened nozzle. Yeah, I use a hardened nozzle. Hardened steel nozzle. It's an enclosed printer. It's the Bamboo Lab X1 carbon. That's what I did it on. So everything I've done on that, including this first 8.5-foot section. Um, actually, it's well closer to 9 feet. On the first one. Second one will be 9 feet. And then the only thing I didn't print because I knew I needed to haul a load was the spine of the aircraft. And this is the piece of it here that they cut off. They sent the extra to me, which is kind of cool. I don't know what I would use this smaller piece for, but maybe do like a custom carbon fiber light or something like that. Because this is like $150 worth of material right here. Because that whole thing is, I think it's a little over 6 feet 2 inches, and then they had to cut this on because I needed it cut to a specific length for my design. And so this is the extra. They were nice enough to give it to me since I paid for it. How nice of them. But yeah, this is I got to make something out of this. This stuff is too nice not to. That's some serious carbon fiber. Rock West Composites, man, they make some beautiful, beautiful carbon fiber, and they're not paying me to say it either. I'm just telling you right now. I've got tubes from them that are 40 millimeter by 37 internal diameter, and um, I'm telling you right now, this they make some gorgeous carbon fiber, and it is tough. It is resilient. It is exactly what it is supposed to be. True carbon fiber from Rock West Composites. True carbon fiber. They're not paying me to say it. Wish they were. I'd be able to get that FMS Fox. But I'll tell you right now, I told them send me a sticker, man. I'll put it on the side of this drone so that when it's flying during the competition, they know who made the carbon fiber. But they didn't send me a sticker. So, uh, now your desert. Well, wait, I'm sorry. Now your dessert will have a wafer. What kind of wafer, man? Explain this dessert in fine detail. I shall await your response. I got one person watching. I thought doing it in the morning would be easier. Usually in the afternoon, I have more viewers. I was trying to figure out the best time of day to stream lives. And then at one point, I thought to myself, who cares? You know, if one person's watching and they're having a good time, that's what matters to me, right? I mean, yeah, I could use the friggin' exposure and ad revenue and money to keep this circus going because it's expensive, especially when I'm doing stuff with my own money to or whatever I got off the channel, which I don't make anything off of this. I wish I did. I think if I had more watch time hours on some amount of videos, I would, but I guess I'm just not that good at making videos. I'm working on it. But realistically, the idea is build something new that's out that's, build a new type of drone, something that's, I mean, a lot of things started in a garage. Microsoft, I think Apple, Amazon started in a small office. Uh, I mean, everything once started in a garage before it became big and required updates at the most inconvenient times. Windows. So, you know, but hey, it's proof that it can be done, right? Now, do I expect to be a millionaire? No. I don't want that much money. I know it sounds weird. I just don't want that much money. Um, I want enough where my family is happy and that they're taken care of. That's the whole point. So I'm going to do everything in my power to win this challenge. Give something new to the military that they need. And hopefully it's spawns newer technologies, you know, just the idea of, I think what they're looking for really is just innovation. They want to see who's going to innovate the best with what's out there. Like, what were your circumstances? I think a lot of it's the is going to be, what were your circumstances during the build? What did you have available? How much experience did you have? When you came up with this design, when you did this, and I think that's going to be more important to them than just the item itself, successful or not. But I have every confidence in what I've done here, and um, now again, I'm still right now. I'm in the assembly phase, so the aircraft is not just on paper or in CAD anymore. It's been fabricated and is being assembled. So um, that's where we're at now. So I'm glad I'm your favorite. I appreciate that. And right now, since you're the only one here, you're my favorite subscriber. I guess this was the wrong time of day. I honestly thought that I would get more views. I'm not sure why. You know, but I'm guessing YouTube just don't like me. Like I said, not enough cleavage. Let's see if we can power this up. Might as well do something fun, right? My servos are unplugged. Okay, good. Maybe not good. Let's see here. One. Blind as bad I am. Do my Jason Statement voice. What did you say? No one can hear that guy. Alrighty. I'm not plugging up my forward ESC because I don't need to. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Nice. And that's working. It's alive. Alive. All right, let's shut it down.
Telemetry lost.
Okay, good. Shut that down. All right. It's my avionics bay for the DARPA challenge. Nothing like secretive to see here. You know. The whole design really is the secret. But I've been building my avionics bay for a little while now. So yeah, the idea is that I had to kind of do all this in sections because of like what I knew was printed and then what I knew needed to be built around the carbon fiber part of everything. And it just you know when you get an idea in your head and you got all the pieces and you're like, well, is this going to work? So you just start putting everything together and everything starts to go together like it's supposed to. And I think the biggest thing for me was programming in ArduPilot. I was more of an iNav kind of programmer, and ArduPilot it just kind of it took me a minute because they're like, go to the full parameters list, and there's like it looks like a phone book from the 1980s. It's like just so many parameters. And I'm like, okay, and I'm starting to as I'm going through and setting things up, I'm starting to understand the parameters list. And then once you enable a certain thing in the parameters list, then you got to reboot, and then there's more parameters because you enabled something. So yeah, there's that. But these packs aren't what power the thing. The packs that power it are massive. They're like 20 amp hour, 24S system. So it's a big system. I mean, the props. Let's see. I could show a prop. This is just one of the propellers on the VTOL system. More carbon fiber, very light, but it can handle. I think it's 50 kilograms per prop. Each engine puts out 58.9 kilograms of thrust. So yeah, it's a big one. But this is the lightest prop I think I've ever held in my entire life. That's carbon fiber technology for you. It's gonna be fun though, because this thing's massive. I've got two of these for the main propulsion system. You'll see it eventually. I especially when I can show it off. So after everything's all the designs are locked in on May. I think it's May 1st. They is That's the final draft submission. So after that, really no changes can happen to the aircraft. It's locked into each team, which means I can show what I've got going on after that fact. So which will probably give me some content to put out. Ugh, I need to go off flying or something and just I've got to get a glider. I miss powered gliders. I did a video in the old school RC playlist, and I think it says gliders, nitro, RC, all that other stuff. It's just I forget the name of the video, but it was me like 10 years ago. And I didn't have a beard. And you'll be able to tell it's me. But I used to love flying the foam gliders. I gave them more power, bigger motors, bigger props. I used to fly nitro, which was like I found an old balsa wood plane at like a garage sale, and I got a motor for it, and that was my first dive in flying nitros, and it was just a blast. I enjoyed it. I loved flying nitro. It was a lot of fun. Um, you get frustrated at nitro when you first start it because when you're flying a nitro plane, uh, you got to the fuel mixture's got to be right. The temperature and humidity outside matters a lot. You got to tune everything to fly perfectly for just that one day. And then when you go out again, you're adjusting everything again. So that part was a little frustrating sometimes, but other than that, I mean, I had a good time flying nitro. I flew an aerobatic nitro plane. Terrifying the first time you do it, but it's after a while you're just like zipping through the air, and it's doing loops and all kinds of stuff. I miss it. I miss being on the sticks, just flying plane, and that's why I wish I could get that glider, but I'll get it eventually, and then um, I'll get some video out for you guys, and we'll finish the other drone that was similar to the Shrike concept drone. It's sitting up here behind this guy. You can kind of see it. It's another 70 millimeter EDF drone. But this time I did it with a different flight controller. I did have a Speedy B F405 wing on there before, and now I did the F405 wing mini because I didn't need as many UARTs on it because I was just basically experimenting with realistically the gyro filtering when you're dealing with EDFs. It's piggybacked on an APD 500X, which is a 500 amp power distribution board. That's how you get it to work without burning out capacitors. I've seen a lot of people do EDF drones and they pop the capacitors because they're using a standard stack and they're using 4S, which is a way higher current demand. It's a lower voltage, higher current. Um, and that heats up the capacitor legs and they just pop. So you can't do it like that. You have to bypass the onboard power system on those, and you have to go with something that can handle the collective maximum current that each one of the EDF engines draw. So I was looking at 320 amps. So I got a 500 amp power distribution for it from ADP. Got it from ADP, but they stopped selling to the drone enthusiast market, full commercial. So I had to find another power distribution board. if I was going to go that route. But it has the iFlight, 80 amp D shot ESCs and everything on it. It's a decent power system, and it was hauled on a 6,000 milliamp 22-volt pack, which is heavy. That's a brick. I'm just like zipping around that baseball field in the video. So you checked out Shrike Maiden. That's a Shrike Maiden, and that's the unedited video I did with no music and everything on it. So if you like that kind of experimental drones with internally bladed systems, basically EDFs, um, it'll be something I think you'd be interested in. But what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. Yeah, this was today's broadcast was more of a test to see if there would be more people online that do watch this kind of content at this time of day. I haven't really found a sweet spot because I mean a lot of my subscribers come from all over the world, so um, I don't know when to do a live. you know, I don't. I wish I did because it would be very helpful to know when everybody's off and going, oh, he's on, let's go watch. But no, it's just I can't seem to get the timing right. And I'm guessing the content must be lacking because nobody's watching. Well, somebody's watching, but it is what it is, right? But it's what I do outside of just Jocelyn. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Um, it's what I do. My passion is the engineering side and the design side, and then building stuff that it might be impractical, but it's fun. But I have a drone that I did, an EDF drone that will lift me up, and I printed all of it on the Bamboo Lab X1 carbon. And I did it with 28 kilograms of PETG. It's a big drone. You'll see it, the Shrike Sarop drone playlist on my channel. Check it out. I do have Patreon. I do have the Buy Me a Coffee thing on there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. People on TikTok like the stuff. They think it's cool. Um, but basically, if this is all about just meeting new people. It's not. It doesn't even have to be content based. At this point, my lives are just to get out there and say, "Hey, everyone, how you doing? Come on in, sit down, let's relax and talk about stuff." And what about your hobbies? What about the viewers' hobbies? What do the viewers like to do? What do they like to see? We know what my content's all about, but what do you guys like? Do any content makers ask you personally? Now, what would you want to see when it comes to building experimental aircraft and things like that? What do you want to see? What experiment do you want me to run next? And I'd like to get to that personal level with the subscribers. I try to answer every question. I try to answer every comment. And I try to address everyone because it doesn't matter how many subscribers I have. You're here for a reason. And it's not just to sometimes it might just be to see cool content. But I mean, you're people too. I don't just think of you as just a number on a screen when it comes to being a subscriber. I know that you're a person that I want to make content for. And if it makes you smile, if you like it, if it was fun for you, if it was cool, then I've done my job. That's what I want to do. I want to follow my passion, build my designs, fly the aircraft that I make, and I want to entertain all of you guys. I want you all to enjoy everything you see, including enjoying the conversation that we have, even if it's off topic during the lives. So that's really the main point behind these lives. They're not solely content oriented. It's more of a chat, hangout. How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and drink my coffee and smoke my pipe and stuff like that. Tobacco, YouTube, relax, and then and then just chill. That's why it's a chill, hang out, chat kind of thing. Uh, and if I put out a cool short or video and it comes across your feed and you watch it, bravo. If it made you laugh, made you smile, that's the point. That's the whole point. I want to try and brighten someone's day. That's the whole thing. You know, wouldn't hurt to make a little bit of green on the side, but I'm not pushing the issue. That's why I never required people. Be like, yo, become a member. I've got up here like subscribe and become a member, but I'm not obligating people to do it. It's not like I'm going to hide content from you but a lot of other people out there are like, dude, you got to like make good content that draws people in, and then you got to make people pay to watch more of it. I'm like, that's a dick move. I can't do that. If you're a member, it's because you want to support the work, not because you want access to stuff that I've hidden from the general public. That just it feels like a dick move. And I know that monetarily it's not going to help me as far as making more money because I don't think anyone would be members anyway, to be honest with you. I mean, who would sign up to be a member? Stuff's really not that interesting yet for everybody. But I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get with more outdoor flights and things like that. A lot of it just sort of birthed itself in the garage as engineering theory, and then of course the construction. So getting large scale aircraft out there is something that I'm trying to do for all of you, and to see how cool it is, what it can accomplish, what we can make with 3D printing technology and CAD and a little bit of ingenuity. But I do have a friend of mine that's bringing up a couple of totes, hopefully, fingers crossed, that has a collection of, I think, tiny whoops and all kinds of stuff that just would like never use older drones and stuff that people may recognize with older control units. I cannot wait to get my hands on this stuff if I'm able to get them. And I cannot wait to get my hands on it because they are nostalgic and old days of FPV and just the small drones and the micro drones and like some of the bigger 5-inch and the 7-inch. There's just so much stuff that in those toes. Like when he was showing them to me, I was like, this is like a dream come true. And it'd be like one of those things where I'd be like, okay, we're gonna give this one away. A lot of this stuff's in the package unopened. Okay. So I'm like thinking to myself, we'll do a giveaway for this one. Let's check out all this stuff that we've gotten. Okay, we're gonna raffle this one off. And I'm not even sure how we do that on YouTube, but we'll figure it out, right? Okay, yeah. Play it louder. I can't hear it. Yeah. It's all the same beat anyway. Um, anyway, my point is that's the plan on that. And I'm kind of hoping that when those get here, that the thumbnail I'll put the live schedule the live like a little bit farther out than I did today. and I'll but I don't know who will get the notification because nobody clicks the bell anymore. Um, but I'll get a picture of like everything, like an overall thing of and I'll be like, this is the live we're doing, and we're gonna see what are we gonna play with or give away today to the subs. I think that'd be fun. Because some people might not be able to get one of those kind of drones for themselves. They might not be able to buy it right now. I know because I've been in that situation. I'm in it now. But the fact that this stuff will more than likely, fingers crossed, be donated to me will give me the opportunity to give back to the people that are watching. And that's, and just say, like, okay, so you can't afford right now to spend this much on this drone. So I happen to have one. We'll raffle it off. I don't know how YouTube works on like live raffles and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun. It'll give back to the community. You know, I'm not going to use them all at once. So it's like, I know that. So it's like, I'm not going to have a need for all of them. And some of you may look at it and go, well, that doesn't have a controller, but it's got a receiver in it. I have a receiver for that. And it might be a 5-inch drone from a couple years back, but everything works good. You know, um, that's the kind of thing I want to be able to put in people's hands, you know, that want to get into like learning how to fly or just getting into drone, or trying to get an education about it and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing I want to do. Like take some of these things out in the field and do a live where I'm flying some of them, and then just get some of this stuff into your hands. You know, if you can't afford to get one, then I feel that because you know I deal with that all the time. But I'd love to be able to put that in the hands of somebody who wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise to be able to get one, and just have some fun. And that's what my community means to me when it comes to my subscribers. That's what it all means to me. So, with that said, my coffee is empty, which means I need to go back inside and get more. And not very many people are interested in watching anyway. So hopefully when you see that live, be looking for, I'll probably put a short out that'll show when I do this. And I will show all of the drones because when the totes come in, there's going to be a lot of them. There's going to be a raffle for those things. I'm not kidding. I like to give back to the community, the YouTube community that likes this type of content. We cannot let the engineering side of aviation die off. We need to keep this hobby alive. This is a fun thing. Airplanes, drones, you name it. This is what I do, and we have to keep it alive. So hopefully, I see you in the next one. And keep, like I said, keep a lookout for that short. That'll probably tell you when we're doing that live. With all those drone goodies, and we'll set up a giveaway. I'm not sure how. We could probably do it through Patreon or something like. I don't know how we would do it. We'll figure it out. We'll get it set up so that all your information stays anonymous and you still get your package with your surprise in it. And so watch for that short. Then I'll schedule the live when that's going to happen. And then a lot of you are going to have some new drones to play with. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. Yes, thank you, YouTube. I enjoy 0 subscribers watching me. But anyway, love you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Those who did. I hope to see you again in the next one. I've been DPC. Peace out, and I will see you next time. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe out there.